Okay, it's another edition of Riding Home. We forgot to record this when we were riding, so we'll just talk now. So it's the usual group except Mary Helen Jones, who is a reporter for Spectrum News in North Carolina, Greensboro.
She's better than she was.
It's Georgia really did dominate Auburn.
Yeah, I thought they started off a little
slow
with the first two field goals. They've got to do a little better job of goal to go situations down there, but
a little better.
They
gotta be way. I mean, like
we can do 30-yard passes, but we can't do 3-yard runs. So
Mary Helen's saying we because she went to Georgia, graduated from Georgia. The rest of us will.
I'm very invested. Sorry.
But if they want to be Bama, they've got to do a better job of that. But you can tell that they were the better team.
They were.
Even at that point.
Yeah.
And
there was no doubt they would win. It was just by how well they would do.
I had some doubt at
I never doubted.
You didn't?
No,
I was like, what's going on here? Like, what? Why can't they wrap this thing up? Like, in the first quarter.
Yeah.
And so Jake Fromm then correctly lectures me about, well, that's just football, and he's right. I mean, sometimes it takes a little time to get going.
I used to do that when I was younger. I'd see a first quarter score and be like, oh, what? They're only winning by 3 or 7? I never really judge a first quarter score. It's middle of the second quarter or at halftime is where I start.
Yeah, and that's when Auburn lost this game.
This is an outside opinion, but ever since the Rose Bowl, I will not doubt the Dogs until the third quarter. Because that whole first half.
So even the LSU game, you were like, you know what?
I thought,
I was kind of.
Kirby has a halftime speech. We did it
clearly
in the Rose Bowl. We can do it here. Obviously, did in LSU, but I have big confidence in Kirby's halftime speeches.
Well, luckily for Georgia,
or adjustments. Yeah. I mean, they didn't all talk.
They had the best player on the field for either team, and that was DeAndre Swift.
So earlier tonight, when we were out
and about.
You said DeAndre Swift's probably the best running back in the country.
100% DeAndre Swift. When he's all healthy, I can't think of a better running back in the country right now than 100% DeAndre Swift. The way he's been playing the last 3 weeks.
He cuts well.
Yes.
I was surprised at how much Holyfield got stopped compared to how much Swift made it work.
DeAndre Swift is so electric, and he's breaking ankles left and right. And when he's 100%, he is tough to stop. He went for 183 against an Auburn defensive line that's really good.
When you get him in those one-on-one situations,
it's over.
It's done. That dude's just done. I mean, when you watch the highlight of him cutting against on one of them, and the dude just couldn't even he just didn't even make an attempt. He couldn't.
And again, there's no Leonard Fournette, there's no Christian McCaffrey in college football.
I'm trying to think of who the best running back is.
Yeah.
Well, one of the Alabama backs, number 34, is really good
Harris?
for Alabama.
Yeah, he's good.
Not Najee Harris.
But no, it's
I
another.
Can't remember
Damian
Harris. Damian Harris, yes. He's dead.
They're really good. Outside of the Alabama backs, I'm having trouble thinking of someone.
Well, the kid at Clemson's good.
ETN.
Benny Snell.
I don't know if he's what Swift. So I asked Swift tonight, right? So we're sitting there doing the whole thing. Sometimes, Swift is not an unbelievable quote.
Nah, he's kind of quiet.
He is.
Yeah.
But the hesitation move tonight, I asked him, do you know what you're doing? And he said, no, I do not know what he's doing. And he wasn't he doesn't know what he's going to do until it happens. And I'm not the only athlete in the entire world. I know what he's exactly talking about, though. Sometimes it just happens. And
he's a natural.
Can feel it.
Yeah.
Yes, that's the best way to put it.
Especially at the running back spot. I think running backs will tell you, it kind of develops as the play develops. He does,
Those hesitation moves are hilarious.
Well, it's not like he's gets the handoff. He's like, I'm going to put a hesitation move on it. He's just kind of
he does it at the right time.
I mean, it's all just instinct, really. I mean,
he can really stop on a dime though, and
roll. Not even stop, but roll.
Yeah. DeAndre Baker had a specific term for it. What did he call it?
I can't remember.
It was the stiff leg, something like that. The dead leg. The dead leg.
Yeah,
because he just said he just stops right there. It's just a dead leg and it just stops and
Well, he told you. He said he's not even 100%, and
he said he was 7 out of 10. 7 out of 10 or 8 out of 10.
I'm not. I'm calling bullshit on that.
70%.
I have a question for y'all experts. How do you feel? How do you feel in comparison to we're on the 5-yard line, we can't get it in, but we have a 30-yard pass touchdown? How does that feel?
let's let Dylan.
Dylan watches practice.
Yeah.
What do they do?
What are they doing wrong,
what's
Dylan?
the difference though between not being able to get it in, but then you're on a 3rd and 7, and then you got a touchdown from 30 yards out?
defense
I don't
too,
really
how they're
understand
set
it. The only thing that I know I had issues with that when I played NCAA football. It was honestly easier to score from 30, 25 yards out. Because the pass plays, the routes.
Well, you have a guy like DeAndre Swift
space.
who can make a man miss and then go 20 yards.
He's not a slam it in there.
No,
like
he's not in the 5 yard
And we can talk about how physical Elijah is,
but he's still not.
He's not a big.
He weighs a problem.
He weighs.
It's obvious that we have a problem.
There's
in the red zone.
There's no question. There's a problem. But I mean, this is a reoccurring problem now. 3 games in a row.
Well, the whole thing is to have this big, beefy offensive line.
You got it.
Manhandles you and pushes you backwards. It's not happening at the goal line.
Yeah.
It's happening throughout the rest of the field. It's not happening inside the 5 yard line.
I had a subscriber text me, or someone that used to work for me, one of the two, I can't remember.
Who are you?
Yeah, somebody, and they said Jim Chaney believes in bully ball until the last 5 yards. I don't know. I mean, it seems to me like
they tried to play bully ball against Florida, but Florida was ready for it, and they brought everyone.
Florida's defensive line is not even as close as Auburn's defensive line is legitimately.
They knew what was coming.
But also, Auburn was ready. I think we talked about this before the game. When we saw them before the game, it was like, Auburn's tight right now. When they ran out, they were challenging the fans. They were ready to go.
Well, they also, I thought this was kind of interesting. They ran out at the right as Georgia started to run out,
which is a little different because
that doesn't happen. That doesn't happen. They usually wait. Every team I've seen runs out right after Georgia.
That's why Auburn hates Georgia so much. Half their team is from the state of Georgia.
Well, you got Derek Brown,
Dontravius Russell, former Georgia commit. Yeah.
Slayton, former Georgia. Commit.
Flipped the day before signing day. Yes. Auburn. We could go on and on from years past in this team, but go ahead where you're saying.
I guess my thing is that when you assess the situation that these guys are in, they're 9-1. You kind of have a group of 6 teams. It feels like right this second. Mm-hmm. Oklahoma is the one that. I mean, they need Clemson to lose. Which is probably not going to happen.
With who they're playing, it's not going to happen.
It's unlikely, right? So you've got Georgia, Bama. That takes up 1 spot. It might take up 2.
Probably 2.
Well, Mary Helen.
Probably not 2.
Mary Helen has crowned Georgia. So you got the SEC champion, likely Clemson. You've got Michigan and Notre Dame.
Who does Notre Dame play though? Because they don't
play
have
Syracuse next week.
They have no one.
So Syracuse,
they're ranked.
Let's not be. I get
really hung up on Notre Dame, which is
they're not as good as these other teams. But we have this group of 6, and Georgia. So all of a sudden, tonight we saw Clemson get, if you want to call it challenged, okay,
semi-challenged.
Alabama did not play as well as they have been playing.
I didn't think they. Honestly,
I didn't think they played unbelievable.
Offensively, I didn't think they played.
They got a 14-0 lead.
Tua's injury is more.
That is getting concerning. More,
I will say,
people think.
As a person with a Clemson family, that has been their number one thing: is that Tua is not as healthy as he seems. How much will that determine how well they do?
Well, their defense is giving.
I think it's probably a little hopeful. I think it's probably a little hopeful.
Clemson's going to have to run against Alabama, and that would be my worry if I were them. Georgia, I think Clemson can beat Alabama. I think Georgia can beat Alabama. I do not think that Notre Dame can.
Michigan can.
I'm skeptical of Michigan.
I think
I'm a Michigan believer.
Michigan would have to play their best game, and Alabama would have to be playing poorly.
I am skeptical of Michigan's ability to beat Alabama. And Oklahoma, so Michigan's got the defense, Oklahoma's got the offense, and neither of them, they both have issues other than that. Georgia tonight, we're skipping what we talked about in the Claude room.
Right.
They should have beat Auburn worse than they did.
I will say, from what I saw just in the press room, people were kind of embarrassed with the amount of penalties that Georgia got.
Yeah.
I mean,
it was 12
start. Offsides.
No,
it was really
substitution.
I lost count.
The 12 guys on the field.
That can't happen.
I know we say shooting yourself in the foot, but Georgia really
they did
went all out. With how poorly can we play that we can still win?
They've kind of done this every week. Too.
No. Wait a second now. That's not
week.
really true. But tonight, she's exactly correct. The penalties. What are you doing? what
penalties.
are you doing?
They had 12 penalties for 85 yards.
For no reason, though.
Yeah.
Like, it's not how many of them were forced?
No. Kirby, see, you missed the press conference. Kirby said these are our mistakes.
Yeah.
They weren't forced. I mean, Georgia wasn't called for holding.
No.
That I remember.
Yeah.
They should have been a few times, but
Whoa.
Everyone should
what
get
I don't
called for
understand, I mean, you have face masks. These officials completely missed some of the pass interference.
Those were halfway ticky tack.
Yeah, I don't know, and I think Auburn got one that was a little bit of bullshit, and I think Georgia got at least one that was, to me, bullshit.
Which one?
I can't remember.
None of it impacted the game.
No, it didn't. And it
was like, how poorly can we play that we'll still pull this off?
Because
it was disappointing.
You can't do that.
Against South.
That's because what I was thinking. I was like, you know what? We're still going to beat Auburn. I'm not concerned about it. But what if we did this against Alabama? They would. They would probably capitalize on this situation.
Here's my thing with Alabama now. Although everyone,
and maybe that's just my like.
No. I'm not putting down
Alabama is high and mighty, and I think they're great.
Good. They're going to have to play better than they played today.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Sports are certainly not linear. You do not have. We scored 40 points this week. Next week we're going to score 41.
Or Clemson, you score 77.
Yeah, but Clemson regressed some this week.
They did score 77.
They had a legitimate opponent.
I think Clemson is clearly the second best team in the country.
They are now. I think there's. Yeah. I mean, Notre Dame is not the third best team.
Can I put a different question out there that I think maybe people who are not as involved in y'all are thinking? How do you Georgia's winning by double digits, but people are still disappointed. And those how
you're hitting the high notes here.
I am.
No, you're right.
But I see people who are really disappointed that we only beat Tennessee by double digits. Or so many points.
What was it?
No, it was like.
But how many times have we only beat Tennessee by a few points and we're okay with it? But is that a sign of you've made it?
I think it's a sign of this year. Tennessee was supposed to be dog crap too, and again after last year,
Kentucky and Auburn now.
Yeah, Tennessee's not bad, and again I put it on the board. Tennessee is going to be pretty good in a couple of years, maybe the second best team in the East in a couple of years.
You're going to need a quarterback.
Yeah, I think they might go get one. That's a whole other story, but I do think that after last year, the Georgia fan base is somewhat spoiled.
Sure,
I think we're absolutely spoiled.
There was a lot of big moments last year, and
also
now it's championship or bust.
And we're only 2 points. We're only 2 scores above, and we're upset.
We're Georgia is disappointed because because they should have won by more today. They really they shouldn't be disappointed that they won by double digits, but they should have Georgia should have been in the 40s today. I think that's pretty clear.
Now go ahead.
I was going to say you're right, but at the end of the day, most Georgia fans hate Auburn, and you've got to enjoy this.
So you have to accept it. Just take it what you got.
Just take the 17 points.
And I think
how much do they win by?
But 17? I also think the average Georgia fan sees it the way that we do too, and they know that Georgia should have won this game by more.
This team has not played up to its ability in every aspect of a game yet. Now, did they do that last year?
How tiring is it to hear Kirby say, our best game is ahead of us?
We're a work in progress.
We're work in progress? I mean, I don't know. It's up to him.
There's nothing we can do about it here.
It's up to him to get them to do that. It's up to him to create the atmosphere or surroundings so that occurs. I thought, and this is, I do want to say something before I talk about Justin Fields, which is that they will need to play basically their best game against Alabama to win. Alabama's going to need to play pretty well too. So it's both of the things at the same time. But Georgia has not put it completely together yet. I mean, even at Carolina,
was okay. What's the best game Georgia's played all year from start to finish?
Maybe Kentucky. Right. I'm not sure. So that wasn't that long ago. Yeah. They are surging. They're
not bad. That's the thing is that they're not bad. And I think for a lot of people like me and my friends who are 2012 Aaron Murray SEC championship. Love you, but that's our scarring moment. It's hard to wrap our heads around that we can get better every game, and that we can do it because we're constantly waiting for what's that letdown moment,
the Larry Munson moment, the Larry Munson.
And even though they're gone, Nick Chubb, Sam Michelle, they're gone, but the potential is still there.
Yeah, 2012, you're 6 yards away from beating Notre Dame in the national
We're
championship.
not talking about this.
By a lot.
And then last year, you make it to overtime in the national championship against mighty Alabama. So, yeah, Georgia fans are going to expect that type of season year in and
That's
year
the
out.
thing is that until you prove me
Yeah.
wrong, that's what I'm going to set my heart on.
Yeah.
Well, we have seen Donald Trump has gotten elected president. We've seen the Chicago Cubs win the World Series. We've seen Clemson win the national championship. We've seen a lot of things that are not common.
Leicester win the Premier
But
League.
also,
good point.
But on a side note,
the Falcons
the
blew a
fact
25-point
that
lead in the Super Bowl, something you'll never, ever, ever see again.
But the fact that Alabama and Georgia are in the same conference. And you have all these other conferences who are pretending, who are, quote unquote, pretending they're better than us. But, it's Alabama and LSU played in the national championship before we started this playoff thing. Like, it's the best two teams.
The curses can be broken.
That's my point. Secondly, Georgia should win the national championship. Thirdly, tonight, I will say this about Justin Fields. Tonight, I feel like really will help him move forward because he made some mistakes that were mistakes quarterbacks should not make, and he couldn't possibly make those mistakes without being out there with the play clock running down and going and expiring. They didn't take a timeout. Yeah. They let him eat that 5 yards. I think that was awesome because when we were in the car together to go downtown, we decided not to record this then, we said he can't get better without really kind of, for lack of a better term, falling on his face.
Well, yeah, think about, like, for just all y'all, like, when y'all, like, grew the most is, like, in whatever. Like, as a person, it's when you screwed something up. Like,
Justin Fields might have learned more than anyone on the team tonight.
I was, with a group of Georgia fans last weekend, and, Justin would go in for a run, and it would... How is he going to learn how to throw in a situation if he's never put in that situation?
The thing is,
it's not replace Jake.
The place exploded tonight when he passed that.
People want to see him.
They
know how good he is.
That's the thing. Is people want what I've heard is people want to see him throw. We understand when he goes in, he's supposed to be a runner and he's going to distract.
I've seen him throw.
I've seen him throw.
Yeah, y'all have.
Freak.
Y'all have. And you think about the thousands of people who have heard he can throw, and you only see him go in, pretend to run, fake him out, and then go out after one play. How many games has he gone in to distract from the run and then gone out? And people have been waiting.
Well, but
we're not recruiters. We don't see him throw, but we've heard he can throw. We want to see it.
But they've got their set of 85 guys.
Yeah.
Or 84 scholarship kids, whatever it is. And they feel like, okay, right now we need this particular thing at this particular moment, and it has nothing to do with Justin Fields throwing a football.
But, when you have everyone asking, though. That's the thing. That's what Georgia fans are, though. We want what we want.
Fans can be impatient.
Absolutely.
They're allowed to be impatient. And you should want to see Justin. You should want to see Justin throw the ball. There's nothing abnormal with that. No, dummy. No. Get another one.
No, but I just think that's a sign of the times where I appreciate that people have gotten over Jake's mistakes. It's not like
he had one really bad game.
He had one bad game, but let's think about it. Like one bad game compared to the entire thing. Let's see him throw. Let's see Justin throw. But at the same time, it's Jake. We know it's him. We know what he can do.
It would be really
Jake's team.
Bizarre.
It is a team.
It would be really bizarre to replace him. But
that's what.
But Justin needed to play more. He has been playing more. He didn't play against Florida at all.
I think Kirby's been doing well and smart moves.
Well, I'll tell you this:
evening them out.
When you see Justin come off the field and Kirby's youngest son is who he high fives, and Justin picks him up, and then he hugs Mary Beth.
Mm-hmm.
As much as people want to say or insinuate that there's strife, it's hard to see it for me. And I'm literally on the field. I think he's
doing what he should do.
You talking about Kirby?
Yeah. No, I'm very impressed with, and that's just because I come from a Clemson family, and I see how that whole thing, imploded. It's worked out well for them. It happened to work. It happened to work out well, but I see how Kirby has balanced the quarterbacks. And he has not made Justin feel inadequate.
What happens if Trevor gets hurt at Clemson?
Oh, then they're done.
That's the thing.
Well, who's the backup? What's his name?
Chase Bryce.
Chase Bryce.
I saw
Chase
him
Bryce
play.
Ain't winning anything.
Yeah, I remember seeing him play.
He beat Syracuse. Okay.
Goodness.
No, but that's the thing is that Kirby, I think, has balanced
that league is bad.
so well. He has balanced this so well, where he has, forced Justin to not redshirt because he has been in enough games, but he's also made him feel important. Which is what... think about it. 19-year-old boy, 18-year-old boy, what do you want? You want to feel important and needed. And he has done...
Well said.
He has done just enough, and maybe a little more, to make him feel that he is needed. And the crowd has helped it.
41-year-old boy, you just want to feel...
Well, I will say, Justin Fields grew up in a Georgia Bulldog family.
No, he did. His sister plays softball.
Yeah.
He was a little upset when they went and passed Harrison High School to go recruit Trevor. When Trevor goes to Clemson, they went all in on Justin. And if he didn't grow up in a Georgia Bulldog family, he's probably somewhere else. But he wanted to play for Georgia.
Maybe Penn State.
Probably or Florida State or any of these other teams. He'd be starting at Florida State right now.
Whew.
He would be on the bench.
I would be praying for him, too.
But he wanted to play for Georgia, and he was really, really happy. Once Georgia started giving them the attention and making him feel like a priority, he was going to Georgia. That was it.
Yeah.
He wants to be a Bulldog.
Let's talk about tonight, what we saw after the game. I think shit show is probably a really good way of putting it.
Downtown
So here's my outside opinion. Here's my outside opinion.
You worked for Dog Post for 4 years.
I worked for Dog Post for 4 years, and I graduated in 2016. So, but
2015. Wait,
2016.
What was your last season? Was 15? Okay. Okay.
So, the best year of my life was my freshman year when we made it to the SEC championship.
Right.
And I will still fight people who think that Aaron was in the wrong because he was not. He did what he needed to do. It was he did. Don't call in the goal line defense. It's fine. Anyways, so when we beat teams like the best game of my life was the LSU game, 44-41.
The 13.
It was the best game of my life. It was so much fun. We were able to go downtown right away, and everyone showed up. All those football players got free champagne. We're literally throwing it everywhere. But now you have all these
violation.
Well,
I'm certain.
They paid for it. They paid for it. It was fine. It wasn't for free. But anyways, now you have all these extra fans who are like, oh, Georgia's kind of good. I'm going to come to Athens for this game. So you have these lines outside of bars that are 60 people long. And then there's a $10 cover.
Yeah, the bars make you pay to get in.
That's the thing is that I am very happy that we were somewhat average when I came here because we were able to actually. But I
believe they averaged 10,
downtown Athens.
I believe they averaged 10 wins.
That's the thing.
While you were here.
But listen,
I don't know if that's average.
That's the thing is that was Mark Richt average.
Yeah,
that's the thing. When Mark Richt was here,
well, that was
average.
It wasn't average, but it was the average of Mark.
That was average. When you won and you were like, oh, we're not in the SEC championship. Oh, that's a failure. That's a failure season. We're done.
Mark Richt helped you to get him bars in downtown Athens easy.
Do not tell him that because that will be no.
He's got his own set
I will say that
major problem.
The more Georgia wins, the more I will say fake fans come in, and coming from South Carolina is those people who don't get into the school.
Here we go.
Sorry, guys. Love you.
Matt, who did not go to Georgia, was crucifying these Auburn people.
But no. The worst is
Kennesaw State alums coming over here.
The worst is the people that don't get in that try to go after you. Because I've had people try to come after me.
Come after you.
Who didn't get into Georgia. And I'm
get at me, bro.
Whoa. Who has been to every single press conference? Not you. Me.
We've got got two out of staters have worked for Dog Post.
Texas.
Hey.
Oh God.
I think I'm worse though, because my dad went to Clemson, my mom went to South Carolina, and I chose Georgia. So
I had my parents went to Texas, and
I was a Georgia guy who just didn't have the grades, so
there would have been.
You weren't going up to people and being like, "Yo, I'm all this Georgia guy."
No.
I'm all in.
See, I didn't go here undergrad, nor would I have gotten in / been able to play here. I could have walked on and been a disaster.
I'm being a little pretentious right now.
You are being pretentious, but I don't think that you have to go to the school for your passion to be.
No, but you can't be a jerk. You can't be that guy.
You shouldn't be a jerk ever.
Well, yeah, exactly. But I'm saying, in my experience, at least with South Carolina, the guys who are the most jerk to me, who try to tell me that I don't know what pass interference is, all these things.
This has been a point of contention.
I'm still bitter about that. I'm still bitter about this. But the guys who try to tell me that I don't know how it's played are the ones who never went to the school they're defending.
Wait. Sorry. Can I bring this up? So if you have an issue with that, why'd you take a selfie with Cam Newton tonight?
Because he's a Panther, and I'm from South Carolina. South Carolina,
two
states, one team. 2 states, 1 team.
But do we not remember the comments that he made?
No, because at that time, I was a Clemson fan.
He made those comments.
No, I was still a Clemson fan.
What comment?
The female reporter asked him.
Oh yeah,
that was last year. Yeah,
I didn't. Yeah,
you're a female reporter, woman.
So you're cool with those statements?
No, I wasn't. But I was not in sports at that time. So
points.
Yeah, and you're not in sports now. You still.
I'm not sports. I'm still in I'm in politics.
Politics and
normal.
all that. So
love you sports, but I've moved on.
So you did not go to Georgia.
But you're right. Yeah, no. He was very sexist in those remarks.
He was.
And
that was inappropriate.
That is not okay. But he still took a selfie with me, so it's okay.
What was it like at Kennesaw? Were there a bunch of Georgia kids? You would think there would be a bunch of Georgia fans there.
Well, when I was there, they didn't have football.
That's right.
And so on my way out of Kennesaw, I interned in the football department. Head coach Brian Bohannon, who played at Georgia in the 90s.
Yeah.
Got to know him a little bit, and I still know all those coaches. They won the Big South.
They did. Back to back.
Kennesaw is murdering teams like 56-10.
They almost beat Georgia State. You've turned me into a Kennesaw fan.
They should have beat Georgia State.
All in.
Kennesaw should be at the next level, whatever it is. I don't even know next year, but I mean, they run that triple option, and they're just dominating these smaller schools.
But there were Georgia kids, like Georgia fans.
Definitely.
How many of them from Kennesaw would go to Athens for a game like this?
A few. I'm sure some
but
of the
how much has it increased since they got better?
Oh,
and you
totally.
Knew
I mean,
that's the thing. I know that was like super. It was pretentious of me earlier, but I'm saying
let me just say this though. There were 40,000 Georgia fans at the Notre Dame game. They didn't know that they'd go play for the national championship that year. Some of this is just Georgia.
Yeah. Well, and I just think I will always my bookmark is the LSU game. And I will that's my number one game. It was the best time ever.
A lot of people
It was so much fun because it was such a good game that everyone stayed till the end. I love blowouts, don't get me wrong, but I love competitive games. Because it forces everyone to stay.
This has not been the season for you if you're.
It has not been, but like that's okay. I love winning, so it's fine. But what I'm saying is that it wasn't like there were a ton. Let's be real. There weren't a ton of LSU fans that came into town.
No,
there was a good amount. Yeah. But it wasn't like you could not walk around downtown Athens.
But this is Georgia.
You couldn't get into a restaurant. You couldn't get into a bar.
But Georgia Auburn has always been a mess.
But still, it's never been.
Were you here in 16 when they?
Yeah, 16. Okay, so 16.
I remember
trying to go out after the Georgia Auburn game, and just every bar was just like, oh, $10 to get in, or wait 30 minutes to get in, like $15 to get in. I was just like, no. And then I literally went downtown. It was there for 30 minutes trying to get in. It was like, I'm just going to go home. This sucks.
I will say, though, LSU, that game was the best game
that was great.
Ever.
Was it?
44-41. Sorry, Zach Madden. Because, the whole game day revolved around it.
That game
His mom still works in the football office. That was the best.
Speaking of game day.
And that was when, I will say, so obviously the coach always picks the head that he's supposed to.
Lee Corso.
And that was the first time, I think, that he goes, I remember because I was watching on TV, he goes, no one here wants me to pick Georgia because, you always lose when I do. So he picked the Tiger head, and the place exploded. And I remember Reese, I think it was Reese, or maybe it was Chris Fowler at the time, but saying, we have never heard a school get this excited about more so picking the other team, and that's just
Georgia.
That's when I was like, "This is Georgia. This is us."
Total
like,
Larry Munson.
That is the moment when you were like, you don't want he chooses the other team, and we blow up.
But people gotta get past the Larry Munson bullshit, man.
Oh, come on!
They won a national title.
No, what I'm saying is,
it's going to take a national title.
Hold on, let me lay this out.
Okay, lay it out.
Which is this: you are the economic power of the South.
Yeah.
Maybe North Carolina, but not really. I mean, Florida's not the South, so they don't count.
Thereby,
you're the economic power of the South. You have 10 million people in your state. There is the prospects, the athletic prowess of the state is not
unreal.
Approachable in the South outside of Florida. Georgia should be a power. I've written about this for more than a decade. And I love Larry Munson. Sugar falling from the sky, touchdown in the corner. There's a million things that were awesome. But he came from, and I again cannot stress how much I loved Larry Munson. I grew up listening to him when we were kids.
You got to get over it.
But you have to. Kirby is so correct when he says it's not anyone else but Superman's fault when Superman doesn't fly. Superman should fly. Georgia should fly. They should be Superman.
Do they win a national championship in 5 years?
Yeah,
this is a separate point.
I think they do.
But
I think they're going to be too good.
Georgia should be more like Batman because Batman's cool.
Here we go.
That's just kind of side.
See, I'm always a Superman person because he's just perfect. Like he just came into this earth and he's good.
No,
there's no. I don't talk about Coker during these if I can help it.
Saying.
Let me tell you.
That's the thing is that my friends ask me. They're like, I'm really nervous, and this is,
These are like your buddies.
These
from
are these are the outskirts people who don't pay attention, but they're like, we were so good last year that I'm worried about this year.
They've lost one game this year.
But you had the names, and that's also because we graduated with Nick Chubb, St. Michelle. You had those names, and what I keep telling them is it's a young team. In 2 years, most of these guys will still be juniors and still be here.
Next year was going to be the better year.
It is, but Alabama's young too.
Yeah.
Well, besides
Clemson is a little bit, kind of mixed. Their defense is pretty old.
They love Christian
Wilkins.
Wilkins.
My boy, though.
They got
Christian Wilkins.
What are you talking about?
Trevor.
Oh,
yeah, Trevor can't do it by himself.
Christian Wilkins is so much better than Trevor,
and he does.
Like, if we're gonna brag about people, come on.
Can we just focus on?
Christian.
Can we just focus on Trevor needing to get a haircut?
He's got to get a
This
haircut.
is
really you don't know the family. He's not getting a haircut.
I don't care. I mean, it's
not
about.
Can you imagine going out? No, but going on a nice dinner date. You're like, this guy has to go on a nice dinner date, and he shows up, and his hair is longer than yours, and you're like, oh.
So when he starts making millions and millions of dollars,
that's the thing. Okay, see, if it was just the three of us, then it would be like, maybe we're not right. He should get a haircut, but we have a female's opinion now that he should get a haircut.
And I will say, Trevor's great. Trevor's great, but
the hair.
If there was a regular Joe, if you were not Trevor Lawrence and you had that hair, no. Like if you were anyone other,
he's not doing it.
That's what I'm saying. No, he's not going to.
I mean, if he were here right now,
I'm saying
the kid is a nice kid. I've dealt with the kid.
Oh, he's great. He seems like a wonderful person.
He's just got to cut the hair. That's it. That's all I'm asking for.
If you are literally anyone other than the starting quarterback for a top 4 team, and you have that hair. You got a limited selection. If you show up to a Tinder date, people are like, no,
he's got the arm.
Pass.
He's got that golden arm.
He needs to.
That's not what you look at first. You look at the face and the hair, not the arm.
Future Atlanta Falcons quarterback.
Oh my god,
maybe. That's all I'm saying.
Dude, you literally set yourself up.
I really am, and now we're going to end the podcast because we brought the Falcons up.
Come on,
how dare you?
Come on,
stop it. We were having fun.
Well, dude, you're
just like state of Georgia. You guys should be pulling for the Atlanta Falcons.
No,
everyone in this state
the only
should be
reason
Falcons
I pull for the Falcons is because I don't want to see you sad.
It's unbelievable.
Oh, Oh, that was really nice.
See, I got a selfie with Cammy Cam earlier, so I'm happy.
Dylan's trying to get on the
Cammy Cam
Braves
loves
train.
the kids.
I'm slightly on the Braves train.
Thank you.
I was not on baseball.
Different. That's not like the Falcons.
If you live in the state of Georgia, grew up in the state of Georgia, you should be pulling for the Atlanta Falcons.
You know what the problem is with the Falcons? They're losers.
They're not losers.
They're the definition of loser.
You say that.
Unbelievable.
Dude, I once again, man, I want to side with you here, but the Super Bowl.
They went to the Super Bowl 2 years ago.
What happened in that Super Bowl? They showed that they were losers.
They went.
Like, they're losers in a way that the Cowboys... Like, the Cowboys
are losers.
No, they're
big-time losers.
Let's not talk about the Cowboys.
Hold on.
We're not talking about the Cowboys.
Hold on. The Cowboys are losers in a very different and dysfunctional way. Atlanta has just proven they're like, we just can't,
get it together.
No. And for the record, I was cheering for the Patriots that night for a few different reasons. I like David Andrews as a person.
He's a good person.
He's a good
Malcolm
person.
Mitchell.
And there
He's
was
a good
someone
person.
else.
I was pulling for both those guys until the second half, and Malcolm Mitchell was catching passes. Then
He was killing your birds.
Yeah, he was killing.
David Andrews is really killing.
I was rooting for him
He's
to
his
do well
captain,
until he
I think.
started doing well. That's basically what you said.
You were doing that fake
I wanted
thing.
him to do well.
You're like,
But he was against the Birds in the second half, and they were blowing the 25-point lead. I didn't want Malcolm Mitchell catching any more balls after that. But it's been tough, and I just think the state of Georgia should jump on board and
please.
So, anyways, go Dogs. Hopefully, we don't die against Alabama.
Mary Helen has skipped the Tech game.
Yeah,
completely.
I'm done.
You just skipped the UMass game.
I did. And Kirby, you know what? I know he's not listening.
Tech is huge, though.
No, it's a big game.
Tech is huge.
I don't want to think about that game because I've had too many disappointments with that game.
Tech is huge.
Yeah, I remember saying, "Oh, they could intercept this pass and the game would be over in overtime." My senior year, and then guess what they did? They intercepted that pass, and I was like, "All right, the game's over. Goodbye, guys. I'm done." That was bad.
But we can wrap this up. How do you want to do it?
Bye.
That's one way to do it. All right, thanks for listening to this extended version of Riding Home with the Dog.
That was fun.
That was. All right, farewell.